Primary postpartum hemorrhage is a medical event defined by the World Health Organization as the loss of a blood quantity greater than 500 ml following a vaginal birth, or a loss greater than 1000 ml following caesarean birth, which may affect the mother in the hours following the delivery. It is an unexpected event, which means that can occur to every pregnant woman even without warning signs, and due to this reason, it is estimated to be one of the most relevant causes of maternal mortality, especially in developing countries.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lorenzo Viola, and with my teammates Eleonora, Laura, and Gianmarco, we work on a research about primary postpartum hemorrhage. The dataset comes from a survey held in 2019 by Minfido Central Hospital in Zimbabwe. It's made up of 55 variables, both medical and socioeconomic, for each of the 414 women considered in this survey. All of them suffered from PPH.
In the first place, we cleaned the dataset, correcting typos found during our analysis. Then, to better understand the meanings and the relationship between all the medical variables, we perform a multiple correspondence analysis. From its plot, some association between the cause of bleeding and the respective therapies are observed. We can see, for example, the proximity between the cause of retained placenta and the manual removal placenta, between the problem of uterine atony and the drug oxytocin. Furthermore, the proximity between women's age groups and the cause of their bleeding is relevant. For example, lacerations are more frequent in young women who tend to give birth naturally. All the adverse outcomes from hysterectomy to hypovolemic shock are concentrated in the region of older women who often have previous problems such as past cesarean section or antepartum hemorrhage. In the same region, individuals with fetal problems also prevail. The association between the ruptures of the uterus and the use of a drug, which is the misoprostol, at first may suggest that it is the cure of the problem, but after further investigation we have discovered that this is not the case.
One of the most frequent cases of postpartum hemorrhage is the uterine atony. In our dataset, it appears more than 70% of cases. It is a pathology in which the woman loses the tone of the uterus and therefore is no longer able to have contractions. We have analyzed uterotonics such as misoprostol and oxytocin that are usually used for labor induction or to stop bleeding in case of atony. For misoprostol, it can be seen from the literature that it is generally not recommended. It can also cause some contraindications such as prenatal hemorrhage, premature detachment of the placenta, or even more serious, the rupture of the uterus. Regarding the latter, we verified through an hypothesis test that the proportion of ruptures of the uterus on patients under misoprostol is greater than the others. With an appropriate test on proportions, we can accept the hypothesis that the adverse outcomes is the same for the administration of the two drugs. This result is not surprising, starting from the belief that each treatment chosen by the doctor was the most suitable for the patient.
Our analysis was not limited to medical variables, but also focused on variables that somehow reflected the socioeconomic situation of Zimbabwe, such as dwelling and booked. Booked separates women who underwent checkups before childbirth from those who didn't, and this characteristic is fundamental. Indeed, there are several studies that explain how pre-birth care is really relevant for the health of both mother and child. Regarding mothers, we verified through AMANOVA that those who do not book appear to be older and with a greater number of children. The difference between the means is significant for both variables. We try to find some explanation for this phenomenon, and two of the possible explanations are that the child may not be wanted, and an economic one. Indeed, the mother may not have the financial resources to face the visits. Moreover, we did some studies regarding the child, and through AMANOVA we discovered that the child of the woman who do not book are on average of a lower weight and gestational age. Another significant difference regards the modality of the delivery. Indeed, the percentage of cesarean sections on women who do not book are higher than those of the others. And this is due perhaps to the greater urgency of childbirth. The other dummy variable that immediately caught our attention is dwelling, which concerns the area of origin of the woman. In particular, there is a distinction between urban and rural environment, which are extremely different in Zimbabwe and characterized by antipodal lifestyles. This immediately made us suppose that there could be a strong distinction between women coming from these two environments, mainly dictated from cultural and economic reasons. Belonging to rural areas, which therefore involves a different diet and lifestyle, involves a difference in the amount of hemoglobin of rural women. This is clearly visible through a MANOVA, made both on the prenatal and postnatal hemoglobin, and with an ANOVA on both. Furthermore, given the close link between pre- and postpartum hemoglobin, we performed a linear regression between them, with dwelling as dummy. And from the graph, it's clear that the straight line linked to women from rural homes is lower and with less inclination than the other. By eliminating only 3 outliers, the residual assumptions are respected, and the variance explained is quite satisfactory.
One of the variables that we are interested in predicting is the presence of adverse outcome. We have tried to reproduce the logistic model proposed by the paper, where to predict the risk of adverse outcome, the estimated blood loss, and the presence of rupture of the uterus are used, among other variables. The quality of the forecast is excellent. However, we are not satisfied with this proposal, because predicted variables that became known in the critical moment of birth are used. Moreover, according to the diagnostic, the dependence of the logit is not linear in the platelets and in the number of past pregnancies. We therefore propose our model, obtain 2 progressive elimination of the less significant variables, selected in any case among those variables that are known before the birth, and the order of the AC is comparable with those of the previous model. It turns out that the logit of the probability of adverse outcome increases with increasing age and with decreasing hemoglobin before childbirth. Moreover, the risks are greater if the woman belongs in the group of people who came from a rural environment, or if she has to face a cesarean section. In fact, even according to external sources, such as the Lancet Global Health, in Africa, maternal mortality after a cesarean section is about 50 times greater than in richer countries. The ROC curve obtained is appraisable and comparable to the one of the paper, and our model on our dataset realized a misclassification error around 50%. The diagnostics are good, the logit is linear in the regressors, there are no outliers in the residual, and the cook distance is low.
As a final analysis, we wanted to identify the risk factor for the health of the child, in particular to evaluate the probability of his or her death. As expected, the likelihood of fetal death increases with fewer weeks of gestation. Another very significant predictor was the square root of maternal platelets. Among the categorical variables, the occurrence of blood loss in the last quarter is an indicator of risk. In fact, under this circumstance, the risk for the baby are greater. The ROC curve is very good, and there is a mixed classification error around 10%. A similar test to classify individuals at risk of infant death was carried out with a Fisher classifier, with the variables age, just age, weight at birth, pre-delivery hemoglobin, and platelets, which reaches a number of 21% via cross-validation.